and participants, good morning. I'll take this time to welcome all of you to this opening ceremony for the East African Air Quality Management Training. It's a training where we'll have close to 50 participants in person and 35 participants online. I wish to note that we received over 433 applicants, but we were only accepting 50. So can you clap for yourself? Vice Chancellor, I wish to note that in this, among these distinguished guests and participants, we have representation from the USA, we have representation from UK, we have representation from Sweden, we have representation from Rwanda, from Uganda, and Kenya. We'll know each other as time goes by. So at this particular time, I'll wish to invite the PI of the overall project, where this workshop or training is just one of the outputs of that project. The PI is Dr. Daniel Westervold. He's a professor, Professor Daniel Westervold from Columbia University, the Arts Observatory, Lamont Arts Observatory. So Dan, welcome.
So if you could put up these few slides for me, please, that would be great. So I just wanted to say a few brief words here about the logistics for the program. So as Godwin said, my name is Dan Westervelt. I'm the PI of this grant that's funded by the US State Department. Let's see here. You can go to the first slide. It's really good to be here. Thank you, everybody, for all this great setup that we have. And sorry, we're having some difficulties here with the slides. Could you go back one to the first one? Yeah, so I just wanted to show a little bit about the overview of this project that we have going on. So this is the third year of the project. So we've been doing this work for quite some time. Again, this is funded by the US State Department. The scope of the project covers Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda. So of course, as Godwin mentioned, we have participants from each of those three countries represented here today. Our main task in this work was to design and implement an air quality management certificate program. And so that's exactly what we're here to do today. In the past, we had done this online. During COVID, we had this on Zoom. We've also done some training with other folks in Kenya, such as the National Environmental Management Authority. And then we've had some delegates visit US for scholar exchange. In particular, I want to highlight recently Dr. Godwin Opinde and Mr. Teddy Mwendwa, who visited the US, who visited us at Columbia University, and several other folks just earlier this year. And these are just some photos of some of the stuff that some of the activities that we've been doing. So you can go to the next slide. A really quick schedule at a glance here for what we will be doing this week. So obviously here we are at the opening. You can see we have tea breaks 10 a.m. and 3:30 every day, lunch at 1 p.m. every day. Today and Wednesday, we're going to be having some afternoon hands-on breakout sessions, and that'll involve some travel to the KU town campus, as we will explain here in a minute. We also have a bunch of interesting panel discussions, and we have some presentations from attendees that are here that are doing work on air quality in Kenya, and they'll be here to share their research and their project plans. Next slide. Just a quick logistic mark here. So I have a list here of all the names of the participants in person. Please take the moment to look at this and write down what group you are in. All right, so we have Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D. If you can find your name on this slide and mark yourself down as one of these groups, that will be really important, because as soon as this afternoon, we will be taking Group A and Group B to the KU City campus, in which they will be seeing some of our air quality instrumentation that we have there. Group C and Group D will be here today, and then on Wednesday, Group C and Group D will go to the KU City campus. Did everybody have a chance to write their group number down? Please take a pen out and do it if you have not. Take a photo of the slides as well if you would like to. But this is going to be really important, so please take a moment.
Yeah. Yeah, we should.
Okay. Looks like most folks have at least taken a photo. Okay, you can go to the next slide. I think this. So a few ground rules here I wanted to cover. Most importantly, let's all be respectful of all attendees and lecturers. You know, let's be nice to each other and let's have a good time. We're going to have ample time for questions and discussion, but I would like to ask that folks keep their questions concise and to the point, so that everyone gets a chance to say what they would like to say and bring up their thoughts and points. Please be on time, please attend all sessions, and please actively participate. And the reason I have to say this is because, as Godwin mentioned, we had to turn away a lot of people. So the folks that are here, you know, you're among an elite group that was chosen to attend this. And so take advantage of that, and please be here and be active participants. And then finally, for the Zoom folks, if you can hear this, if you'd like to speak or be called on, you can use the raise hand feature, or also type in the chat to be able to speak, and our IT team will give you the floor. So I think that was the last slide. Maybe check. Yeah, so that's all I have. I'm going to turn it back over to Godwin to take us through the rest of the program. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. This opportunity, I'll wish to invite the Dean School of Engineering and Architecture to take on the program. Dr. Kilonzo, welcome.
Thank you. The representative of the VC, acting DVC, ACAD, Dr. James Koske, the representative of the United States International Agency for Development, USAID, Judy Dishu, Dr. Murugi Ndirangu, Director, Columbia Global Center, Nairobi, representatives of the National Environment Management Authorities of Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda, the PI and partners of the United States Department of State-funded Air Quality Community for Practice in East Africa project, staff of Kenyatta University, invited guests, participants of the training, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning. It's a fine Monday morning, and it's really an honor for me to be here to give my few remarks as Executive Dean, School of Engineering and Architecture, where the department hosting this project is domiciled. And allow me, our chief guest, just to make a few remarks. First, I'm excited that Kenyatta University is a recipient of a variety of equipment to monitor air quality. And of course, I'm sure those will be showcased. I can see a few there. And looking at those equipments and looking at the MCA Air Quality Regulations 2014, I see a lot of mirroring of what pollutants should be monitored and what equipment we have been given that can monitor those parameters. So it's really an honor for Kenyatta University to receive this equipment. That means we shall be doing a great job for the country in terms of monitoring air quality in regards to the air quality regulations. The next comment I want to make, and these I'm making from experience, is that if you look at the air quality regulations 2014, and especially on section 4 subsection 1 on the application. The regulation states, this regulation shall apply to all internal combustion engines and all premises, places, process and operation or works. If you look at these areas that the quality regulations are looking at, they are targeting processes and activities that mirror what we require and what we need for our development. For those of you from Kenya, you know our economic approach for the government, the better approach, bottom-up economic transformation, and manufacturing is anchored in this. And this is manufacturing based on micro and small enterprises. And of course, as you might be aware and from experience, these are cottage industries which run on very basic budget. As you have seen during the COVID, they were the most affected by the COVID pandemic. So what we are saying is we want to ensure compliance with air quality, and that's why we are monitoring air quality. But of course, the most affected by these air quality regulations will be the small scale orders. So I'm hoping this particular training and discussion will also put into consideration that section and segment of our economy that really needs to be mended, because they also need to be brought into the loop on air monitoring. Of course, you remember the case of the environmental Kuznets curves, where there is the postulation that you may need to degrade the environment to a level that you attain economic sustenance, that you are able now to start caring about the environment. So we hope this training will help us to jump that curve and be able to move forward to develop our country, carrying along these small-scale enterprises with us. The third comment I would like to make is, according to the World Economic Forum, the fourth industrial revolution represents a fundamental change in the way we live, work, and relate to one another. We are having this training, and one of the 2 things that I captured in the training is the use of big data, satellite information, and use of sensors. And this is exactly what Industry 4.0 is all about. So I do hope by the end of this training that we shall have gained useful information and knowledge that we shall use in our countries and in our institutions to be able to further the agenda of 4.0 in our countries and in our institutions. With those few remarks, I wish you well in your training. I wish you fruitful discussions, engagements, and I am sure, looking at the program, this is going to be a very helpful discussion. As indicated, you are a very lucky lot. 50 out of 400, that's quite a good percentage, and you should count yourself lucky that you made it to the small cut. With those very few remarks, I would like to invite Dr. Murungi Ndirango to make a few remarks, and then she could invite Madam Dishu to also make her remarks. Karibu, Madam Murungi.
Thank you very much, Professor. Good morning, everyone. The acting DVC academic, Professor Kilonzo, the Dean Kilonzo, thank you for your welcome. Dr. Opinde, Professor Dan Westervelt from Columbia University, US Embassy officials, USAID, the workshop facilitators, speakers, participants, invited guests, all protocols observed. Good morning. I'm delighted to be here to join you today in taking part, kicking off this very important workshop on a topic that does not receive enough attention. Research indicates that Africa experiences some of the worst air pollution and severe health consequences relative to the rest of the world. My name is Murungi Ndirango, and I'm the director of Columbia Global Centers, Nairobi. CGC Nairobi, as it is popularly known, is part of a network of 11 centers worldwide that were founded by Columbia University in New York. The centers serve as a knowledge hubs that aim to educate and inspire through research, dialogue, and action. The centers advance understanding, facilitate partnership, and build bridges necessary to tackle our changing world. Our centers are proven to be fundamental platforms that create awareness and enhance shared learning opportunities across various themes such as climate change, health, business empowerment, and education. So we are here to support Professor Dan Westervelt and the people from Columbia University. Our center's mission is to do exactly what is happening in this room today, to build partnership and to work within those partnerships for the good of our regions where we are located. As we know, air pollution is increasingly a leading cause of respiratory and other types of diseases, resulting in high healthcare costs and low productivity worldwide. In 2019, air pollution contributed to 1.1 million deaths in Africa, and about 14% of deaths in children under 5 and 17% in children under 1. The rapid economic development, industrialization, and socio-demographic transition associated with environmental degradation and significant increases in ambient air pollutant levels that the East African countries are experiencing are feared to worsen in future years, and it will exert an increasing toll on the population health in many cities. Even more disheartening is that most of these countries have unsystematic and inconsistent efforts to track progress towards reducing air pollution and the impact these pollutants have on human health. Because of such grave statistics and future projections, the importance of air quality management cannot be understated. Many African countries are seeing almost no progress towards cleaner air. The East African Air Quality Management Training Workshop is a conduit to establish national and regional air quality standards, initiate formal benchmarks and monitoring infrastructure, and propose investment channels to expand air quality implementation and management plans. Such pathways would significantly reduce respiratory diseases, allergies, and even premature death, preserving the lives of our young children, expectant mothers, the elderly, and individuals with pre-existing health conditions who are particularly vulnerable. As I conclude, it is imperative to mention that air quality management is not limited to individual countries or regions. Air pollution knows no boundaries and can travel across continents, affecting local populations and global communities. Collaborative efforts are required to tackle this global challenge by promoting international cooperation, sharing best practices, and adopting cleaner technologies. We can collectively improve air quality worldwide and protect the entire planet's health. I'm therefore delighted to be part of this workshop as you kick it off. I'm also very delighted to be back in my school. I graduated from Kenyatta University many years ago. I don't come back very frequently, so it's always a delight to be back here and to see how things have changed and, you know, the very significant work that is being done by KU on these very, very critical issues. So I thank you for having me, listening to me today, and let me welcome you, Madam. Welcome. Thank you.
The representative of the Vice Chancellor, DVC Academics, Dr. Kosgei, Director, Columbia Global Center, Nairobi, Dr. Murugi, and Professor Daniel, Dean School of Engineering, Dr. Kilonzo, participants from the academia, regulatory authorities from East Africa, Uganda, Rwanda, and Kenya, and participants from UK and Sweden, my colleagues from US Embassy, all protocols observed. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. The United States government welcomes you to the East Africa Air Quality Monitoring and Management Workshop that comes just 2 weeks before the Africa Climate Summit. The US government appreciates the partnership between Columbia University and Kenyatta University in hosting this very important and timely training program. Ladies and gentlemen, air pollution causes millions of premature deaths, a host of illness in world's cities each year. This is especially true in sub-Saharan Africa, where sparse air pollution monitoring imposes high uncertainty to estimate the exposure of that impact. Major cities in East Africa, including Kampala, Kigali, Nairobi, all suffer from unhealthy levels of pollution, but lack effective monitoring and management tools to reduce this to healthy limits. An example, Nairobi, Kenya's capital, has experienced accelerated growth in both population, economic output in the last 2 decades, driven by its role as an international and national and regional hub for commerce, transport, regional cooperation, and economic development. Its population has increased from 1.4 million in the 1990s to more than 5 million in the last 2022. This is projected to increase to more than 7 million by 2030. This rapid expansion has worsened the city's environmental footprint and worsened air pollution, which has increased by more than 180% compared to the 1970 levels. Poor air quality is not evenly distributed and tends to be worse in informal settlements, where more than 70% of city residents reside, exacerbating inequalities in the city. This is the same case in Uganda and in Rwanda, Kigali. Ladies and gentlemen, both air quality and climate solutions depend on the ability of the national, local governments, and organizations to mobilize resources and support. To address this, the US government is partnering with East African governments and stakeholders such as yourselves, universities on various fronts to address climate change and air pollution in Africa. The US government is proud to be sponsoring this workshop led by Columbia University, New York, and Kenyatta University here in Nairobi on capacity building of air quality management and science as part of the international networking, knowledge sharing, capacity building, and improved air quality in East African countries. This program, in addition to building capacities for air quality program, will partner with national governments of Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, and implement air quality management plans, develop air quality monitoring networks, and East Africa in secondary cities, as so stated by Dr. Murugi. In addition to this grant, the US, which is funded by the US Department of State, the US Agency for International Development, that is USAID, launched the Clean Air Catalyst Program in 2022 with a global consortium of organizations led by World Resources Institute and the Environmental Defense Fund. Through this program, the Clean Air Catalyst partners, who are the vital strategies, Columbia University herein represented, MPAQ, and the UN Clean Air Catalyst, all led by World Resources Institute, offers a global applicable approach to developing locally tailored, self-reliant, gender-sensitive solutions that cut clean air pollution and improve human health in cities in low and middle income countries. Ladies and gentlemen, and participants, the Clean Air Catalyst uses a novel program strategy combining four key innovations to address air pollution. One, source awareness. This is combining participatory science, structured media engagement, and assessment of public perceptions to build a shared understanding of pollution sources that affect communities in each city. Second, root causes analysis that broadens our search in clean air solutions beyond the end tailpipe or top of the smoke track. Regulatory actions by identifying actions that drive emissions in the most pollution sectors in each pilot region. Third, strategic coalitions, that is focused partnerships, that select high impact interventions from root causes analysis, assessment, and build multi-sector coalitions of partners who can collectively enact interventions to reduce emissions from key pollution sources. And lastly, cross-sectoral global coalitions. This is a unique coalition of leading air quality, environment, public, energy, governance, and communication experts to work together to break down the sectoral silos that to deliver credible and comprehensive solutions. In addition to delivering clean air, improved health, and climate social quality co-benefits in pilot cities, the US government and partners in these programs will create a practical, field-tested playbook for convening key stakeholders in identifying, building awareness, air quality priorities, and leveraging US government partnership strengths to deliver and sustain clean air through public, private, and community action. These programs are also committed in empowering scientists, women, youth as clean air catalysts and fostering opportunities to elevate voices for those most impacted by air pollution. All outputs will be open source, and we encourage other groups to use the data, join the partnerships, or otherwise help in building global groundswell for effective and collaboration in clean air pollution. On behalf of the US government and partners, we welcome you to this workshop and invite you to continue building networks, building your own capacity as clean air catalyst for your own individual countries, your individual organizations that you work for, East Africa, and the global good. Thank you.
Thank you. Another clap for Madam Disho and Madam Murugi. Chief guest, allow me to break protocol a little bit and probably in the interest of you and the participants, acknowledge the funders for this project. If you have any representative from the US Embassy, kindly. Thank you. So let's appreciate Madam Disho. So I'm told she just stepped out. So let's acknowledge her in her absence. Thank you. We have the team that is organized this, the PI and the partners, Professor and your team. We need to acknowledge you. Probably if you are in, could you see the PI team? The team coordinating Professor Opinde and any other team in the consortium. Let's acknowledge them. With participants from Rwanda. Could I see by show of hands? Rwandese, let's acknowledge that they have come a long way. Let's appreciate them. Participants from Uganda. Let's appreciate them. And participants from Kenya. The majority, thank you. Chief guests, you have seen the people who have expressed interest, the cream that made the cut for the training. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together to welcome our chief guests. It's now my duty and honor to invite the Vice Chancellor, Kenyatta University, ably represented by the Acting Deputy Vice Chancellor Academics, Dr. Koski. Let's get together for the. So much.
Thank you very much, Dean. Members, all members who are here, participants who are here, good morning. Good morning once more. In Kenya, we repeat many things so that we become strong. Thank you. My name is James Koske. You have heard my name. I'm actually the Executive Dean, School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. We combined late last year to make one strong team called the School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. And then, as is the tradition here, we assist each other. And currently, I'm standing in for the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Washeke. And now I'm here probably at the very top of the ladder to represent our able Vice Chancellor, Professor Paul K. Wainaina. Air quality monitoring and so on are not very new to us, particularly in the School of Environmental Sciences, because we started it all up. And I want to thank Dan Westerfeld for bearing with us. I remember the day we tried to fix the air quality monitor next to my window, and we were having challenges. Looking for a ladder and a hammer and a welder and all those things. But eventually we did a very good job and mounted the instrument in a very secure place, and it is operating. I would like to invite the group to continue mounting even more equipment. Now that we are in the School of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, we have a pleasure of, we have land and a point where you can add more monitors. This is in the Kitui County. Kitui County is about 2.5 hours drive from here. And it would probably give us a very good, comparison in terms of finding out air quality from within our country. Kenyatta University in the city campus, in Mombasa, and we will in future talk about Kitui. I would be very grateful. Thank you so much. I don't want to do so many things because then I might preempt what my Vice Chancellor has written down. So I will go straight away to the remarks made by Professor Paul K. Wainaina. But first of all, welcome to Kenya, those of our colleagues who have come from far and wide. Uganda is not very far, but it is far. Rwanda, great friends, thank you very much. Welcome to Kenya. You are welcome to stay even longer. Yeah, and then of course, my wonderful friend there, Professor Dan Westerfeld, and your group from wherever you have come from. Karibu Kenya, and you're welcome to stay even longer. And then my wonderful friends at the podium here, thank you so much for coming, for your wonderful speeches. You are an alumni of Kenyatta University. We are a wonderful environment now. We usually invite our guests to plant trees, so that you leave the other part of your lung here in Kenya. You know, the trees are your lungs, only that they are external and they can't move, just like the lungs in your body, they don't move. Those ones of yours not come out and go around. So thank you so much. Maybe the Secretariat and the rest will even planting 2-3 trees. We shall provide the trees. Enjoy the environment in Kenyatta University. Don't sit inside this building alone. Have a walk and exercise your lungs as well. So the remarks by Professor Paul K. Wainaina, Vice Chancellor, during the East Africa Air Quality Management Training Workshop held at Kenyatta University Conference Center today, Monday, the 14th of August, 2023. USAID representative, Director, Columbia Global Center, Nairobi, Dr. Murugi Ndirangu. Participants from Columbia University, Lund University, Sweden, Koenig Mellon University, North Carolina University of Agriculture and Technology, Birmingham University, Kampala Capital City Authority, Rwanda Environment Authority, Department of Occupational Health and Safety, National University of Rwanda, Makerere University, Uganda, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, National Environment Management Authority in Uganda, Geothermal Development Corporation Kenya, Environmental Institute of Kenya, National Environment Management Authority Kenya, Kenya Electricity Generating Company, Kenyatta University, deans and chairpersons of departments from KU, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to join you for the East Africa Air Quality Workshop organized by Kenyatta University and Columbia University with support of the United States Department of State. According to United Nations Environment Pollution Action Note, air quality is the greatest environmental threat to public health globally and accounts for an estimated 7 million premature deaths every year. Air pollution and climate change are closely linked, as all major pollutants have an impact on climate, and most share common sources with greenhouse gases. Improving air quality will bring health, development, and environmental benefits. There are global and local efforts to improve the air quality with a core benefit of addressing the changing climate. I recognize the efforts of the East African community and each of its member states in formulating policy guidelines and regulatory tools on air quality management in the region. As a university in teaching, research, and innovation, we recognize that there are challenges in air quality management, especially in the global south. Some of these challenges include scientific evidence-based actions, inadequate air quality monitoring networks, low levels of awareness on air pollution and its impact on health, inadequate human resource trained in air quality management to support policy, formulation, and efforts towards effective compliance and enforcement. Kenyatta University, through its partnership with Columbia University in New York, is making a contribution to bridge gaps in air quality management space in East Africa. Through this collaboration, supported by the United States and the Kenya government, Kenyatta University has received air quality monitoring equipment worth United States $70,000 to enhance research in this area and contribute to evidence-based policy formulation in the global south. This equipment measures the level of nitrogen oxides, ozone, particulate matter, and other relevant parameters in ambient air. The university has also begun mainstreaming air quality management in its curriculum. For instance, the revised Bachelor of Environmental Planning and Management has integrated a unit on air quality management in its curriculum to ensure that the trained environmental planners and managers incorporate air quality issues in their planning. In addition, this training workshop will plant the seed for a possible long-term sustainable air quality management certificate program within Kenyatta University's curriculum. Kenyatta University, in collaboration with other universities and organizations, are actively contributing to the current NIAIR project, spearheaded by the World Resources Institute, which focuses on enhancing capacity of the community, Nairobi City County, and NEMA in air quality management. The university also participates actively in engagements on review of air quality regulations and related standards in Kenya. We are therefore delighted to host this training, and I believe that it will not only be gainful academic venture, but also a perfect platform to build networks for future collaborations on issues of air quality management. I welcome you to enjoy the natural beauty of our campus. May I repeat, I welcome you to enjoy the natural beauty of our campus as you engage in this training workshop. It is now my pleasure to declare this training workshop open and wish you a successful week-long deliberations. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So can we clap for the PC? Now it's my pleasure to give a vote of thanks. And I don't know why we give a vote of thanks at the beginning, but nevertheless, I will do the needful. First and foremost, I want to thank Kenyatta University Management, represented by Dr. Koske, for opening this workshop and for the good presentation and the kind words that he has given to us. So can we give them a clap? We say we clap because we don't say arouse applause, because we have to clap the traditional way, the Kanu style. So secondly, we want also to thank all the United States agencies present, especially U.S. Department of State, USAID, and the embassy for their strong support for this training and for support for all the facilities that is required for air quality in Nairobi and in East Africa. Can we give them a round of applause? Also, we should not forget the trainers and the facilitators led by Professor Dan Westerveld for their well-prepared engagement that they are roaring to go. Can we give them a round of applause? I cannot also forget all universities present and those who are represented, whether they are online or in this room, especially Columbia University, North Carolina, universities from Europe, Birmingham and Lund, as well as also universities from Rwanda, Uganda, and Kenya, for your strong participation, because you are the future. Training and capacity building is actually anchored in the university. So can we give them a round of applause? I don't want also to forget all the regulators, the NEMA Rwanda, NEMA Uganda, NEMA Kenya, for their strong presence here, that they will continue now. After this training, probably they will reinvigorate their regulations, as well as also be versatile in terms of enforcement. Can we clap for them? The third also, I want to we recognize the regulators, Kampala City Capital Authority, Nairobi City Council, no, Nairobi City County, Kisumu City County, and also Mombasa City County, as well as also the other regulators like Directorate of Occupational Health and Safety, as well as also those that are represented, either that we are not aware of by now. Can we give them a clap as well? They are very important because they are the one to enforce. Once they are trained, then they will know how to enforce properly. And I think this one came in handy because they were still saying that they lack capacity to enforce it very well. And I think now this is the right time. And of course, also we want to recognize those major energy generators that they want to reduce their carbon emissions. And I would make reference to Geothermal Development Corporation, Kenya Electricity Generating Company, and others who are major producers or manufacturers that they want to reduce their carbon emission, as well as also comply with air quality, as well as the 2032 reduction that Kenya has actually signed to. Can we give them a clap for that matter? And I think they deserve to, because they are serious emitters and they want to reduce on a serious note. And we want to thank them for showing off. So we also want to recognize the training institutes, as well as also major research institutes like Cambridge and others who have come to also see how to re-engineer their research in the areas of medicine as well as also health. So can we clap for them? And lastly, there are institutions that have come on their own right, either to support, or they are consultants, or they want to network and so on. And those that I have not mentioned them, can we clap for them? And lastly, for all our visitors who are staying on campus, we have a standard Olympic turn track field. So you can run in the morning and in the evening. And the air quality here is not that bad. So remember, it's one of the best. There is no any other university in this country that does it. So you can take advantage of that. We also have a standard swimming pool that you can go 10 meters high and jump inside the water, and you enjoy the deep, cold water, probably in the morning. It can actually make your day very nice. So don't forget also that we have also Arboretum on campus, as well as also a campsite that you can visit. And we have the Campanile, the tallest tower around, that you can see the whole of Nairobi city. So you can also try. But if you are not strong in climbing heights, probably you should not try. And for those few remarks, I want to thank everybody and want to welcome you for a photo session outside. But before that, can I welcome Dr. Opinde for the way forward? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Latema. Thank you, representative of the VC, Columbia Global Center, USAID, Dean Dean Engineering and Architecture, all the participants. Good morning once more. Now, we are going out for a photo session. We'll be guided by our corporate affairs. Guys in corporate affairs, Kenyatta University will guide us on where we're having the photos. And then after that, we take a short break for tea to be served out there. And then we start our program officially for the training. And our first speaker would be Christina Isaacson. Unfortunately, she didn't make it, but she'll do it online. She's from Lund University. So please keep time. 10:30 on the dot, we'll have started. Thank you very much. For those who are online, you can have a nice break. If you have tea next to you, please take it, or coffee, and enjoy yourselves. Thank you. We'll be back at 10:30 sharp. Thank you. So let's follow the cue from corporate affairs. I wish to recognize, the Registrar of Corporate Affairs is here, and I didn't recognize her, Professor Mbunyi, and the corporate affairs team. They're going to guide us on what to do. Dan, you join the team. And Gaidano, Mike, please join the team. Participants will also be part of the photo session. So we just be guided as we move outside. And then after that, we go for the tea.
You know, of Lagos. Okay.
Well, come on. Hi, I'm Mr. Vito.